ride shotgun with Andrew Cotton on his incredible journey through the heart of an epic winter season, navigating intense highs and extreme lows in his attempt to ride the biggest waves on the planet. For British big wave surfer Andrew Cotton, surfing big waves has always meant having to go out and find them first. A process that demands an extraordinary amount of commitment and sacrifice.
Yeah, I get worried. Very worried.
If you want it, you can go for it, but you might not come home.
After multiple seasons on Hawaii's North Shore, it was developments in cold water technologies that allowed Andrew and his tow partner, Irish pioneer Al Meni, the ability to access regions closer to home, previously thought inhospitable.
I can remember when I first started going to Ireland, just got 6 more suit with attachment, and it was a complete game changer. You know, you go and you're changing the sessions into like all-day missions, you know. I've seen it change, like, just dramatically from, like, when me and Al used to surf it, like, no one there and no one, pretty much everyone ignoring it, to, like, now, as soon as it breaks, you've got, like, guys flying in from all over the world to just, you know, to surf it.
In 2011, Andrew towed legendary Hawaiian waterman Garrett McNamara into the history books and showed the rest of the world the potential of this new cold water frontier beginning to open up in Europe.
He proved to be a really good driver. He handled himself really well. We've invited so many people to surfing through that wave. It's just amazing. I feel very grateful and honored.
I was surfing 5 minutes before, you know, that wave came in. You know, a few people have said to me, "Oh, I bet you're so gutted that you didn't catch that wave." And I was like, not really, no. It's just, you know, it's the time. It's not always, it's the right timing, you know. And just being a part of something like that is, you know, is enough for me. And my time will come, you know, like, it doesn't have to be, like, things that are instant aren't always good. You know, it's always like a building, you know, you slowly build and get better, you know.
In 2012, chasing another winter season bankrolled by a summer of odd jobs, Andrew solidified a growing reputation after being whipped into a wave at Mullaghmore Head in Ireland by Al Meni that can only be described as suicidal.
Fuck! It's fucking
Everything about Cotty was summed up in that wave. You know, he was fearless and completely committed, and that's what you need to be.
Still probably one of the best molly waves today.
Cotty's very calculated and gung-ho, both.
If you're in the ocean and the biggest waves in the world are breaking, there's a possibility that you might get the biggest one.
Over the past year, we've been following extreme surfer Andrew Cotton in his obsessive quest to seek out and conquer the world's biggest wave, and St Jude might well have delivered the answer.
As the first giant swell of the 2013 Northern Hemisphere winter season slams into Nazaré in Portugal, an excited crowd gather on the cliffs to witness what might be the biggest waves ever recorded, possibly over the 100-foot mark.
Cotty worked on putting me on 3 different waves, and every attempt was failed, frustrating.
Maya went down and Carlos couldn't find her. At one point she wasn't breathing, she was absolutely dead, you know, on the beach.
ride shotgun with Andrew Cotton on his incredible journey through the heart of an epic winter season, navigating intense highs and extreme lows in his attempt to ride the biggest waves on the planet.
Over the past year, we've been following extreme surfer Andrew Cotton in his obsessive quest to seek out and conquer the world's biggest wave, and St Jude might well have delivered the answer.
At least 4 people have died in one of the worst storms to hit southern parts of the UK for years. The storm, which began overnight, cut a trail of destruction across large parts of England, with dozens of flood alerts left in its wake.
The first giant swell of the 2013 Northern Hemisphere winter season slams into Nazaré in Portugal. An excited crowd gather on the cliffs to witness what might be the biggest waves ever recorded, possibly over the 100-foot mark. Meanwhile, Andrew Cotton and his tow partner Garrett McNamara prepare to face this challenge head-on. They are joined by an international crew of big wave riders, including the Brazilian team of Carlos Burle and Maya Gabeira, 2 of the most experienced big wave surfers in the world today.
There's almost like little standing waves in the harbour. It's like, oh my God. It's such a big playing field out there. It's unlike any other sport.
There are no channels and there's really no safe zones.
We're the first out there, like Garrett is amped. These are the days that he lives for.
The emotions I go through when it's a big day is I'm super excited. I can't wait to get in the water. I'd say very focused, and I have high expectations of everybody I surround myself with.
We're joined by the other teams, and Carlos pulled Maya into the first wave within like minutes. We saw like Maya let go of the rope and just disappear, and a couple minutes later I put Garrett into his first wave.
Cotty worked on putting me on 3 different waves, and every attempt was failed, frustrating.
I couldn't get around in my head about matching the speed, and I just wasn't going that well, to be honest. I could tell he was sort of bummed, and we were talking about how we're going to approach these waves, and that's when we heard a shout on the radio. Maya went down and Carlos couldn't find him. Garrett was on the radio, like, do you want me to come in? And it was just hectic. It was like, what do you want us to do? It was sort of helpless, really. My biggest fear is either being on the ski and not being able to find the person that I've just towed into the wave, or being that surfer. At one point she wasn't breathing. She was, practically dead, like on the beach.
Badly rattled by Maya's accident and feeling frustrated about not being able to get Garrett onto any big waves, Cotty was forced to make one of the hardest decisions of his career.
Maya's situation, and her been having the CPR on the beach and been going to hospital, and Garrett made that decision that he wasn't going to surf. He gave me the option, like, do you want some? That's the point that I had it handed to me, like, well, do you want to surf? When's it going to be this big again? Like, I need to experience it more to progress. It's like the biggest wave I've ever seen now. I want to surf.
With Nazaré having proven firmly she is one of the most challenging big wave spots on the planet, Andrew approaches his first wave respectfully.
Play it safe, like, don't go to the bottom, do a high line, don't do any stupid mistake.
His confidence now building, he finds himself perfectly positioned as one of the biggest waves of the day comes marching out of the canyon towards the beach.
it's just this thing just wedged up and gouged in the spot on the ski, and it's just like hooned me into it.
After successfully completing the ride that would later be officially recognised as one of the biggest waves ridden in 2013, earning him an XXL nomination, it was Andrew's third wave that was to present him with his greatest challenge of the day.
Started to go down, it's like bang, 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 and I just caught a rail and the board flipped and went down. I got smashed. He's even further like across, so it's like it's definitely going to break in my head, and I'm just like, oh my God. And he just turns up on the ski and was like, I want one.
Every attempt was failed, frustrating.
Maya went down and Carlos couldn't find her. She was, practically dead, like on the beach. Gouged in the spot on the ski, and it's just like hooned me into it.
Ride shotgun with Andrew Cotton on his incredible journey through the heart of an epic winter season, navigating intense highs and extreme lows in his attempt to ride the biggest waves on the planet. After successfully completing the ride that would later be officially recognised as one of the biggest waves ridden in 2013, earning him an XXL nomination, it was Andrew's third wave that was to present him with his greatest challenge of the day.
Started to go down, it's like bang, 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 and I just caught a rail and the board flipped and went down. I got smashed. I'm in between the cliff, this massive wave, and then this jet ski just whips across and whips one of the Brazilians into this wave, Pedro Scooby, I think it was, and he's hurtling down this wave, and he's even further like across, so it's like it's definitely going to break in my head, and I'm just like, oh my God. All the things that I've been taught to do is breathe properly, stay calm, don't move. I just started swimming as fast as I could. I was like, I thought I could outswim it for some ridiculous reason, and there was just no way. I got rattled. I had like a vest on, and it was like the vest was like almost like getting aerated and trying to pull up over my head, and I was like holding that down, and I was like, okay, well I'm gonna come up. I know I'm gonna come up, and then the next thing is like, where am I gonna be when I come up? How close to the cliff am I gonna be? Am I gonna be, am I gonna get swept to the beach? Am I gonna go right into the cliff? Like, as I came up, Hugo was just like right there. So you've always got to know when to call it quits, and I was like, right, that's my time to call it quits, like, don't be too greedy, don't be stupid. The sea captain was on the radio to us, like, saying, like, that's it, guys, everyone in, this is getting dangerous, I suppose. And then Carlos turns up. We hadn't seen him, like, the whole session, because after the Maya incident, he was on the beach, and he performed CPR on her, and he just turns up on the ski and was like, I want one.
That was a rational decision, because I couldn't do much after. Because she was with the paramedics, going to the hospital. And I had the two guys waiting for me outside, so I went back to help them. And at the end, I asked for a wave, and that wave came. end of the day was one of the best days of my life because we were able to walk out of the situation alive and experience the highest feelings ever, you know, going to almost losing a friend to surfing the biggest waves of my life. And I know that it wasn't easy. It was a team effort, so I'm very proud that they also supported each other and we all walked it out healthy. And that's the main thing, you know.
I didn't get out of the water and go, yeah, like best session ever, you know, like everyone was shaken up and everyone was just really thankful that Maya survived and she's straight back out surfing big waves, and that just sort of shows the sort of commitment and determination she's got, and like hat goes off to her.
We all watch over each other. We all are there for each other. We're also out there just having the most amazing time and looking to get the best ride we can get.
You want the next swell to be bigger because you want to keep the momentum going. Take everything you've learned and just move it on.
And it wasn't too long before this historic winter produced yet another massive swell, and with it, a new set of challenges.
I need to make some calls.
Although Mullaghmorin Island will also be huge, Andrew wants to head back to Nazaré in Portugal. But first, he needs to lock down some critical last-minute logistics. He makes contact with fellow UK charger Tom Butler, who is already in Nazaré preparing for the swell.
So I'm waiting for a call from Tom now to see whether he can get us a ski. For me, this is the most stressful bit. Like, I'm stressing out. I want to be at the right place.
After much last-minute hunting, Tom manages to secure skis for the duration of the swell, and Andrew begins the journey to Portugal.
Chest or something like that before he's doing it.
Unfortunately, a logistical issue arises at the last minute.
Butler's just called. There's a problem with the skis. It is going to be pumping. It's going to be definitely going to be like huge, without doubt. And it's offshore and it's sunny, but without a ski, even if you're paddling, you need a ski. So like last minute to be told that it's like not sure, might not happen. It's like frustrating. It's just one of those situations. My bag's here. I'm gonna get my bag. 7 jumping, 9, 12. How? I don't know. 16 hours. Obviously, the surf is firing. Like, as with big wave conditions, it's probably as good as it gets. We'll have a window or an opportunity to paddle. Paddle out and just play it really safe. Like, I'm just going to see how I feel. If it feels right, then I'll paddle across and try and get a couple. If I don't feel right, you know, and I won't. There's no point in watching it from land and go, oh, I can't go out, you know. I think just being in the sea, even in the channel, is probably would be beneficial to my surfing. I feel like the whole day would be wasted if we just sit around. Yeah, it's like so frustrating. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Being that it's a sandbar, it's like nowhere else you've ever surfed at that size, and so unpredictable and so challenging, and almost impossible to have a really solid paddle session, because you might get one, and then when you kick out, if you actually make the wave and you kick out, there could be another one in your head, and then there's no way back out. The ski can't bring you out, you can't paddle out. It's the most challenging big wave for paddling, for sure.
Fuck, that's like breaking the bar. Nervous.
With no option to toe surf, Andrew begins the mammoth paddle from the harbour to the impact zone, well over a mile.
Fucking mission paddling up there. It's absolutely firing.
Although Mullaghmore in Ireland will also be huge, Andrew wants to head back to Nazaré in Portugal. But first, he needs to lock down some critical last-minute logistics.
The skis, it's going to be pumping. It's going to be definitely going to be like huge. We'll have a window or an opportunity to paddle. There's no point in watching it from land and go, oh, I can't go out. You know?
Ride shotgun with Andrew Cotton on his incredible journey through the heart of an epic winter season, navigating intense highs and extreme lows in his attempt to ride the biggest waves on the planet. With no option to tow surf, Andrew begins the mammoth paddle from the harbour to the impact zone, well over a mile.
You gotta have a lot of patience because you sit there for hours paddling this way, paddling that way, dodging waves, getting pounded by waves. You might not even get a wave.
After a few hours spent both hunting and dodging giant peaks, Cotty does manage to paddle himself into one. A relatively mid-sized wave considering the conditions.
Paddling is just survival. Everything seems to be in slow motion and more kind of at peace and more of a zen feeling. When you're towing, it's just full speed, balls to the walls. When you're paddling, it's just
Unfortunately, any zen Andrew might have been feeling would have been quickly exchanged for something much less peaceful when he found himself on the wrong side of a giant breaking wave.
Fucking mission paddling out there. That was like a fucking 100th of what waves it should have been surfed today. It's firing. It's absolutely firing. Oh man, look at that shit.
Andrew meets up with Tom Butler and Sebastian Studner as some of the biggest and cleanest Nazaré waves they have ever seen go completely unridden in front of them.
Beyond perfect again, but no skis.
To enter the water without the aid of jet skis today would be sheer stupidity, as not only would they be used to tow each other into the waves, but equally importantly, they are vital safety devices.
We're in the best place in Europe for sure. We've made a good call, but the logistics side of stuff's just like having a shocker.
Fucking frustrating. I just want to get out there and surf, really.
With their situation not looking good, the boys begin another frantic bout of tracking down available skis, and fortunately, their determination begins to yield results.
We're on rented skis. It's good, it's exciting. We're actually going to get some waves now.
It'll be nice to get out there and actually look at it from the water. I'm ready.
It's probably like 20 feet, but then with those, like we saw that set earlier on, like that was like 3 times the size of any of the waves. 20 to ginormous feet, you know. Belly breaths, 3 seconds in, 10 seconds out. Today's 3.3 meters at 16 seconds, I think. Don't know, it's pretty big for 3.3 meters, isn't it? It's a pretty big 3.3 meters. For this one, I think like definitely the biggest, cleanest waves were here in Nazaré. Our logistics has been a nightmare, but I think made the best of a really tough situation. So it's good.
At the start of January 2014, a storm of biblical proportions came roaring across the Atlantic, creating what was to be termed the Black Swell. Experts were predicting huge amounts of storm damage, as well as the biggest waves ever recorded in the Atlantic Ocean.
Right now, this thing looks monstrous. I can't even put numbers on it.
Ride shotgun with Andrew Cotton on his incredible journey through the heart of an epic winter season, navigating intense highs and extreme lows in his attempt to ride the biggest waves on the planet.
It's all because of a high spring tide and also a very strong southwesterly wind driving that high sea towards the coastline.
At the start of January 2014, a storm of biblical proportions came roaring across the Atlantic, creating what was to be termed the Black Swell. Experts were predicting huge amounts of storm damage, as well as the biggest waves ever recorded in the Atlantic Ocean.
Fuck, it's gonna stop raining, isn't it? Right now, this thing looks monstrous. It's gonna be it. I can't even put numbers on it.
With a final 36-hour countdown to the swell's arrival and only one window of opportunity to surf this swell at its peak, Andrew is forced to start travelling immediately, either to Nazaré in Portugal to meet Garrett McNamara, who might be flying in from Hawaii, Bellara in France, or Mullaghmore Head in Ireland.
Oh, you'd have to get on a ferry or get on a plane. Like, still gonna fuck this up. The swell's huge and just got one chance. Nazare's not on, it's too cross shore, it's too windy. Bahara's like a massive possibility, but the tide's terrible. The winds are kind of funky, but Mullaghmore is offshore all day. So I think let's go Mullaghmore.
Mullaghmore is a hard place to like as a wave. It's a beautiful town, it's a harbour town, but the wave is very extreme and it's very dangerous. It's not perfect, it's got plenty of ledges and lumps and bumps, and you do get some severe beatings out there.
I've had some of the heaviest waves in my life there. I've had some of the worst wipeouts. I've written off skis there. Do you know what I mean? I've learnt to sort of drive the jet ski there. You know what I mean? I've learnt so much there. So it's pretty special to me, really.
Mullaghmore, it's probably one of the best waves in the world. It handles pretty much any size, you know, once it gets over 10 feet, and it's a huge barrel. It's down the line, it's not just a drop into a channel, you know, it's a full-on ride. A lot of times when we're out at Mully, heavy squalls come through, hail, rain, heavy wind, you know, it's some of the most intense weather in the world.
Everything about surfing progressively in Ireland is a challenge. Like, you get cold quickly.
You gotta be committed, definitely really committed to surf that wave. Because, yeah, it'll pound you. It's heavy.
Whatever Mother Nature throws at it, it's gonna hold it. You know, and that is exciting. And not only does it hold it, it just breaks heavier and hollower. You know, it doesn't like fat out or like just doesn't get easier, and you don't get like more rolling takeoff. You know, it gets heavier. So you know, you could probably surf 80-foot barrels out there. You know, like 100-foot barrels if it ever got that big. You know, like it's just, it is the best big wave spot in Europe.
Waves breach defences at around 7 o'clock.
Fuck, it's big, I can see the waves through the trees just smashing up against the cliffs down there.
no real let up today, I'm afraid. The heavy showers are taking through most of today. And the tail of the thunder.
It's pretty big out there. A little bit nervous.
Things that all came together to give us this terrible flooding with waves of more than 10 metres battering our coastline.
Blowing in from the Atlantic and high astronomical tides. And when you get those two things together, you get a storm.
Good waves, big barrels, fun, cold.
Everyone else thinks we're lunatics, but we're calculated lunatics. Oh, so cold. I got beaten up once. It hit me so hard, I thought it would knock my balls off. Ledgy and wide. Those barrels are so wide.
With a lot of south in the direction of the Hercules swell, Mullaghmore was not quite as big as these athletes had hoped for. But it was the next massive swell that would send shockwaves through the world's media, putting Andrew one step closer to his goal of riding the biggest wave on the planet. Ride shotgun with Andrew Cotton on his incredible journey through the heart of an epic winter season, navigating intense highs and extreme lows in his attempt to ride the biggest waves on the planet. Just like many other athletes that were trying to scrape a living from an industry that was reliant on them to sell product, It was in 2012 that Andrew suddenly found himself without a headline sponsor as the effects of the global economic downturn ripped through the action sports sector.
Losing my main sponsor was tough, like it was almost like a life-changing moment because it was like, I got a family and a wife, and it's like, well, what did you do,
But unlike many other professional athletes who saw the recession as the end of a career, the determined young Brit decided not to let this setback come between himself and his goals.
Well, you got to be just 200% committed. And luckily, Katie, she sort of said, go with what you want, your heart and your passion, and things work out.
Andrew charged into the 2013 big wave season, coming face to face with one of the most ferocious North Atlantic winters ever recorded.
Yeah, I get worried, very worried, but I can't convey that to him because I don't want to put any, he needs a positive frame of mind for what he's doing, so I can just talk to the girls about that if I need to. So that's that, really.
Whilst Europe was being battered by the storm known as St Jude this week, one man from Devon was hoping for even windier weather.
Yes, over the Andrew Cotton in his obsessive quest to seek out and conquer the world's biggest wave.
He's a British surfer.
I think locally everyone's proud of him, and what he's doing is, is incredibly impressive. And when you see the scale of it, it's hard to appreciate it when you see it on TV or on the internet. But when you're at these places and these big waves are hitting the shore and the reefs and the whole ground is shaking, then you realise what kind of situation he's putting himself into.
You can't afford to be on every swell, so you just need to be on the right swells.
After an unbelievable campaign through the start of the season, it was in February of 2014 that another huge storm by the name of Bridget appeared on the charts. And Andrew once again prepared to confront the Portuguese giant that has an equal disregard for the brave or the foolhardy.
Nazaré just scares me. It's going to be giant, isn't it?
The waves here are challenging to ride and challenging to measure. They're the biggest, thickest, most massive mountain of water you've ever experienced, but doesn't jump up. And then other ones aren't quite as thick and massive, and they'll create a rogue wave.
If you want to say, it's fair enough, like some of the waves are a bit fat, but just the same, some of them go absolutely bonkers. And even the fat waves, they're heavy. They'll definitely knock some sense into it. It's not to be taken lightly.
Everyone have a dream to conquer a big wave, Other guys have a dream to conquer the biggest wave. Scott is ready.
Yeah, nothing really scares him, and I always found it quite confusing.
He's ready, and it'd be amazing to put him on a huge wave.
Yeah, it's obvious it was going to be serious. It was one of the biggest swells we've ever seen it.
Waves were in the street last night, or this morning, so it's going to be huge. Special waves. Let it go when we get there. Hold on to the rope, hold on to the rope.
The one thing that defines Nazaré from a spectator's point of view is all the vantage points, all the different places you can watch the waves from. It's like a Superdome for big waves.
There's only twice I've been there when the waves are moving that fast. It was different. It was next level, I suppose, especially danger-wise. And it was about that one wave, not about getting 20 fun ones, it was about one wave. We knew the exact wave we wanted, we knew where he wanted to be. There wasn't any like frantic charging around trying to get waves. It's just picking the moment, picking the right one. Set came and it's like type of way it's wedging up, but it was like wasn't one of those sort of rollers. It definitely like had a kick from the canyon coming sideways, and it was like wedging. Garrett was just like, "You want it?" And I just looked around and was like, "Fuck yeah."
Although not a new world record as many of the headlines were quick to claim, Andrew's wave would be officially recognised as one of the biggest 5 waves ridden in the 2013 Big Wave season. However, it is his own account of the story that might reveal the most truth about Britain's most famous plumber.
So tell me about yourself. Frustrating. Tricky conditions, but it probably wasn't as big as I thought it was going to be actually. Weird. One wave. Long way to come for one wave. Wasn't even good a wave really. It's bumpy. Like I think it was most challenging straight hander I've ever had.